What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Okay, too much energy, too much energy. All right, so this drawing we're gonna be doing the by the way, what are we going to be doing? Okay, yeah, we're gonna be doing the roof plan. So um by now you should have finished your floor plan like this, and then the next requirement is to do either the foundation plan, or a roof plan. This is the foundation plan or a roof plan or detailed drawings of foundation, like something like this, and of detailed drawing of like the roof section and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to make this video about the roof. You have a choice between, among those three: the foundation, the roof, or the detailed drawings. Um, I want you all to do different drawings. I don't want everybody to do the same foundation every student. I want some of you to do the roof. So I'm going to make this video now. It's pretty simple. You should get through it in about 25 minutes, half an hour. Well, that's how much time I have, so I'm going to try to get it done in that. So basically, let's just follow along and let's get it done. All right. So um, first thing is gonna be taken from this floor plan, but we don't need everything. So we want to make a copy of the floor plan, but not everything. We don't need the dimension lines and all these things. All we need is this roof outline and the walls. We don't need the doors, we don't need the windows, and nothing inside the house. So what we're gonna do, go to our layers, drop down here, and we're going to turn off everything except for the walls and the rails. All right, and the roof. So we're gonna turn off the window, we're gonna turn off the text. Now it's saying that I'm currently on a certain layer and I'm trying to turn it off. It is okay. It's just a warning. So the current layer will be turned off. What do you want to do? I want to turn it off. That's fine. So let's continue. We want to turn off the section. That's that arrow. We want to turn off, leave on the roof, leave on the rails, turn off kitchen and the hatch and the footing, turn off foundation wall. Well, I don't, this wouldn't affect the floor plan itself. Turn off the doors, turn off the dimensions and the cupboards if you have a cupboard layer, and the one to the bathroom and all that, turn that off. Right, turn off everything and leave just the walls of the house and the rail out here, and also the roof outline. After you've done that, highlight the whole thing and copy it. Make a copy, select anywhere as a base point, and just put it anywhere else on the drawing, apart from the other drawings. You want to try to keep them a little bit organized. Alright, okay, so here's what we're going to do. First thing first, we are going to delete all of these internal walls. So just highlight them like that, like so. These interior walls, delete them. Now I know this is the rail and this is the external wall because this is the porch, but we want is the roof plan we're doing. So we want the outline of the building. Alright? The outline of the building, like so, like what we have here. So delete all of these interior walls. There's one in between there, this line in between there, even and then just hit delete. They're gone. So now we see some parts that left back, delete them too inside. Now the next thing I want you to do, you notice that the lines are fragmented. You see pieces, one line here, this is a line by itself, that's a line by itself. We want to join all of these lines into a single line. All right, so I'm going to click this, click that one, type J, the letter J, and then hit enter. So it's going to join them. Now all of these lines, those three lines, became one. So we're basically going to go around. I'm going to just delete these two. We're going to go around the entire drawing and just combine all of the lines. So you might not have it exactly like mine, so you will need to go and do it yourself. But for the most part, it should be similar. So select the lines, J, enter. So that's this side. These two are done. Let me do the right side. I want to select this one, and that one. J, enter. All of them are joined into one. This one and that one, J, enter, joined into one. And just go around your drawing and do the same thing for all of them. Alright, 1 second. Alright, so that I'm in the library. Some students are trying to get to Miss Samuel, who is not in school as yet, if she's coming today. Seems like we're going to be getting interruptions all morning. Alright, so we just click on that line, join them, click on those lines. This one, you can see this one is already one single line. So it seems like we have all of them. Let me just select them to make sure. If they're not, you would know. Right, so all of them seem to be good. So the next thing we're going to do, um, we need to do our rafters. If we look at this, we can see 3 lines. The one in the middle is actually our center line. It's a broken line like that. But the one on the outside, they are solid lines. All right. So the rafters are actually 2 inches thick, 2 inches in thickness, and it's about 6 inches in the other dimension. So it's 2 by 6, 2 inches by 6 inches. Or if you look at it in metric, it should be 50 by 150 millimeters. Okay, this is your fascia board, which is 25 millimeters, 1 inch by 200 millimeters, which is 8 inches. That goes all the way around the building. And the ridge board, the same, should be the same, 50 by 150. Okay, so we are going to be using a new tool here to draw these lines. I didn't go and draw 3 lines individually. I simply drew 1 line and it gave me 3 lines. So that is called, we do this using the multi-line tool. So let me just use a couple of minutes to demonstrate quickly what the multi-line tool is all about. If I type ML on the keyboard, you see it brings up the multi-line tool, right? Just for example, real quickly, if I draw a line with the multi-line tool, let me go to a layer that is on. Let me do the rafters layer. Alright, so let me try that again. If I go ML, hit enter, and I click, it is going to be drawing 2 lines, right? At the same time, like that. So how we get this done, we have to set up the multi-line tool. Alright, so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to type ML style. Once you start typing it, you should see it pop up already. Hit enter. So here's where we create the multi-line, the type of multi-line that we want. We want one with 3 lines, 2 lines, 4 lines. You can decide. So how we do this? We go to new, right? And then we're going to type the name. We're going to give this multi-line a particular name. So in this case, you can call it, we're going to be using the multi-line to do the rafters of the roof. So we can do roof. Let me type with caps. Doesn't matter, but I'm going to type with caps. Roof rafters. Now we notice no space. You can't put any space in between. If you do, look at the continue button. It's gone. You cannot put space if you want to continue. So let me just go ahead and select standard for now. You should have standard by default because you shouldn't have any other styles created. I already created many different styles already. So I'm going to go continue. So now you can give it a little description. I'll put back the same thing. Roof rafters. Now, come across here to the elements. Basically, how the multi-line tool works, it gives you, there's a center point, and then imagine you have a line in the middle, and then it offsets that line 0.5 millimeters on one side, and then 0.5 millimeters on the other side. So 0.5 and 0.5, that's 1. So it will offset the two lines that it would create would have um, a distance of 1 millimeter, because zero point 0.5 on one side and 0.5 on the other side. Notice that one is negative and one is positive, because it goes in two different directions, to the negative side and to the positive side. So what we want to do, we want to create the width of the rafter. We know the rafter is 50 millimeters, so that means we have to go 25 millimeters on either side. Okay, so the first thing we do, we need to add um, the center line in the middle. So that's the line in the middle, right? So now we're going to offset from the center line a distance of 25 millimeters in one direction and 25 millimeters in the other direction. So total, it will be equal to 50 millimeters apart. So I click on the first line and I come down to offset and I type 25. Then I click on the second line, and this is the negative one, so I'm going to type negative 25. Right? So that is going to give us three lines, the one in the middle, and then one 25 millimeters from that one in the middle, and then one 25 millimeters on the other side from that one in the middle. Now I just want to change the color a little bit so we can look nice. So we click on the center line and I go to the color and click yellow. Now I come here to the first one, go down to color, and I click, you could select whatever you want, but I'm selecting something that's a little visible, green. The bottom one, same green. So it's going to be yellow in the middle and green at the ends. All right. Let me see if there's anything else I need to change. Right, so the line in the middle, it's not an actual line of the rafter, it is just a center line to show us that this is the center of the rafter. So click on the middle one and I go to line type and change that one to center. If you don't have this already loaded in, you can go to load, select center, anyone will do, it doesn't really matter, hit OK, and then you click on it and then hit OK, and then it will make that line type in the middle a center line. All right, after, then you click OK, and then you need to set current so that it will be the one in use. Then you hit OK. All right, so now when we draw a line with a multi-line, we type ML, enter. The multi-line is going to show up like that. Three lines, there's one in the center. There's one in the center. I notice it is the dash line that we designated. And then this one, the ones on the end that are green, are solid continuous lines. Okay, so those are the lines we need to use to do the rafters. So this is how we're going to do it really quickly. We are going to type ML, hit enter. We need to change the justification. All right, so the justification of the line, if you click on it, you will see you get three options: top, zero, and bottom. You have those three lines. The first line at the top, that's the top. The one in the middle, that's zero, and then the bottom, that's the one at the below, the third line at the bottom. So if I do that really quick, ML, and show you, when I select the line, you notice that the bottom line has the point. This is the top, this is 0, and this is the bottom. Notice that the bottom has the point. Now, if I go back and type ML, enter, and I change the justification to top, and then I highlight this line again. Well, I draw a different line. Sorry. I draw a different line and hit just click and highlight it. Now, look, the justification. This line justification is set to top, so the top line is the main line. and this one justification is set to bottom, so the bottom line is the main line. We don't, for the rafters, we want to have the center line as the main line, so we're going to change the justification before we draw any lines to 0. That's the middle one. All right, so now when we draw a line, it's going to show us the center one as the main one. This is important. You need to do this because we're going to be drawing from the center of these lines that we see here. All right, so let's start drawing our rafters. Type ML, hit enter. Then we're going to start with the ridge. From this point to the ridge, come across to that point in the ridge and just click. When you're done, just hit enter or escape. That's good. That's the first line. Now type ML again, and we're going to do start at this point and follow this hip rafter all the way to the corner, all the way to the edge of the roof, not the building, okay, all the way to the edge of the roof, and then hit enter or escape to end that one. Do the same thing. Now to reactivate the line, you don't have to type ML every time. You could just hit enter again once it's the last thing that you used, and then do the other side, come up like this. All right, so what we're actually going to do, we are going to do one side of the roof first, and then we're going to mirror it over to the other side. All right, so just to make it really easy, so what we have to do now, we have to put the rafters in between here. All of these rafters, we have to put them in. Okay, we have to put them in. So what we're going to do, same thing, ML enter, and we're going to start right here. Actually, let me start right, I'm going to click right in the center here, click there. So you will see all the lines crossing up. That's fine, we'll fix it later. So we need to come across, and I want to get this line straight up. So how do I do that? I can just hold it straight up until I see that green line up here to know that it's 90 degrees, or I can turn on my ortho mode and it will keep my line straight for me like that. Okay, then we can trim it off like any other line, because it's still a line at the end of the day, albeit 3. So this is the interesting part. What we're going to do, we are going to space these rafters out. These rafters are supposed to be at 2 feet apart at center, and all that means they are 2 feet apart, but 2 feet apart from the center. If you measure from the center of the line to the other center of the next rafter, to the center of the other rafter, you're going to see it's 2 feet. In between them directly will be less than 2 feet, obviously, but from the center of one rafter to the center of the next rafter would be 2 feet. That's how we place rafters, 2 feet on center. So in order to do that, we're going to actually copy these rafters and just put them alongside here, 2 feet apart. So hit the copy tool, click on the line you want to copy, hit enter, and then select the center point of it. See, not the ends, the center point of the tree line, the center line. Now we're going to do all of the lines coming across here without having to reactivate the tool every minute. So I'm going to just bring this alongside this line like that. Make sure it's on the line, the cursor is on the line, and then I'm going to type the 2 feet, which is 600 millimeters. So type 600, then hit enter. Boom. So if I want to put another one after the one I place, I have to add another 600 to the 600 I have before. So that's now going to be 1200. Boom. 600 more, which is 2 feet. 600 plus 1200, that's 1800. Boom. 600 plus 1800, that should be 2400. Boom. 24 and 600, 3000. Boom. 3600, 3600. Then 3600 plus 600, that's 4200. Boom. And then we need to bring this across some more. I think this might be the last one. What was it? 4200 plus 600, that's 4800. Boom. So we ended up with that one right in the corner there. And then we hit escape, and we're going to trim these off just like we would with any line. Okay, trim them off like that. Good. So the next thing we need to do is do the same thing but coming in this direction. Okay, so multi-line tool again, ML, hit enter, and then we're going to click. We're going to click. Let me start from this way. Let me start from here. I'm going to click right there. Notice I'm clicking in the middle here where all these lines cross up, and then I'm going to bring it across to right there. Good. Now we're going to copy this line just like we did. So copy tool, select the line, hit enter, and then we're going to come to this point, and then we're going to just basically place it at all these other points right there, right here, right here. Notice I'm placing it on the inside at this point here, right there. Okay, notice that the lines are crossing up. We're going to fix that later, as I said. Right there, right here, and finally right there. Then after, we're just going to trim them off. TR, enter, enter again, and then we just trim off all of these lines like so. Boom. Okay, so notice the end, it's sticking out. Don't worry about that, we'll fix it later. So here's what we want to do. We want to select all of these lines and mirror it to the other side. So to select the corner one first, don't forget this little one, okay? Select this one also, and then we're gonna make one click and then move this cursor across like that. Don't go too far down as you're gonna select the building and other things. We just want the rafters like that. Okay? We don't want this one in the middle, this hip rafter, we don't want it. So do the same thing, click there and bring this down to select all those. Or you can select them one at a time, it's okay. Take your time. So we're going to basically mirror this and paste it on the other side. So how we do this? We click on the mirror tool. We selected the lines first, then we click the mirror tool. Now we need to create a mirror line. So I'm going to start right in the center where I see this midpoint. Then I'm going to come all the way up to this other midpoint up here and click there. No, it's basically copied it over there. Now it's asking me, do I want to erase the source? This is the source. I don't want to erase it. I want to keep it. So I hit no. So it keeps two of them. Now the next thing we need to do is do the same thing. We mirror this, all these lines above here, and mirror it below to the ones below. Alright? 1 second. Alright. So same thing. If we mirror it, we don't want this one here, we only want all the others. So let's select all of the others, select the small ones in the corner, never forget them. Then select all of these ones, go across here, select the ones in the corner, don't forget them, then come down and select all of these ones on this side like that. Remember I said we don't want this one. If you accidentally clicked it, hold down shift and click it and it will deselect it. Alright, now we want all of these ones on this side. So we don't want the hip rafters, and we don't want the ridge or this one here, this common rafter here. We don't want them. Now we're going to mirror, because this is the middle, so we're going to mirror all of these other ones on the other side. So we do the same thing, mirror. But now we're going to, for the mirror line, we're going to use this center of this common rafter here and ridge. We're going to click right the center of these three lines and then come across to the other side, to center of the other side in the end. Boom. Do you want to erase the source? No, because you want to keep them all. So hit no. Alright. Okay, so apparently we should have copied the yeah, it doesn't have the hip. So we need to mirror the hip also. So it's okay. We don't have to do all of it over. We just have to select the hips alone. Hit the mirror tool again. And then we're going to use the same line as the mirror line. This one. Come across to there. Don't erase the source. And there it is. Boom. Boom. Easy stuff. Alright. So I have a few more minutes. Let me try to get this done quickly. That's what we have. Now we notice all these lines crisscross like this. We want to clean that up, but we'll do that last. Okay. What we want to do now is create the fascia board multi-line. So we have the multi-line for the rafters, but we need one for the fascia board. So we know the fascia board is 25 millimeters wide. So the line and we don't have any middle line for the fascia board. I don't want any middle line because we don't need it for this purpose. We needed it for the rafters, so that would have been helpful to measure them 2 feet apart. All right, so we need to type ML style again and enter, and then we're going to create a new type of multi-line, and this one is going to be called the fascia. Let me just call it that. Now it is asking what do I want to start with. Go back to standard and hit continue. Now we should see this again. I'm going to type the same thing fascia. Now come across here the elements. The fascia board is 25 millimeters thick. So that means from the center of that fascia board, we want to go 12.5 millimeters on each side. So 12.5 and 12.5, that's 25. 12 and 12, that's 24. So the half and half, that's the extra one, 25. So for the first one, we're going to click on it and change the offset to 12.5. The second one, we're going to change the offset to negative 12.5. Don't forget that negative. It is not going to be correct. We don't need to add a middle line, and we can change the color. So let's change the color if you want. Let's change it to cyan. Both of them are going to change to cyan. And the line type, it should be set to solid, continuous. But the layer, the rafter layer that we are drawing these things on, is already a solid line. So you want to, oh, by the way, if you don't have a rafter layer, create it. I think the rafter layer is when I did a different drawing. You may not have had that one created yet. Alright, but if not, you can just create the rafter layer, or you can just switch this to a solid line, continuous like that. Hit OK, and then hit OK, and then come out by pressing OK here. Now we want to set to current, and then every multi-line that we draw from now on is going to be that type of line that we just did. So if I type ML, enter, multi-line is only going to be 2 lines as opposed to the one we had before. Right? Now look at, let's see which one. No, look, it has the middle point, the middle of the line as the thing. We don't want the middle to be it. We want the bottom line to be our main line. So remember, type ML, enter. Now the justification we have to change. So right now it is set to 0. We want to set it to bottom. Right? So now every time we draw a line, the main line is going to be this bottom line here. Not the top, not the middle. Alright? So let's go ahead and draw a line, the fascia board, all the way around. So let's go ML, hit enter. My God. Alright, so where were we? So let me start over. I type ML, hit enter. Now I'm going to do the line starting from this point, right in the corner. Click there, and it's going to draw a line all the way around. Click there, and then click to the other corner. When you bend the corner, you will see the line make a little elbow by itself. Click the other corner, like that, and then come around the bottom. You would notice that the lines are crossing the rafters are crossing it. That's okay. We will fix that later, just like how I said we'll fix the other one. So here's what you do. You carry it up to this point, click there. Now you have this little piece left. How do you fix it? Now down here you would see it says close. You can click that and then it's going to close off the multi-line for you. Alright, cool. So now we just need to clean these things up a little bit and then we put in the labels and then you're done. So this should take us like maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Alright, so how to do this? We need to go to, we need to type ML edit and hit enter. Now these are different ways to deal with lines, multi-lines that cross up each other. When they cross up each other like this is how you fix them. So the first one you want to fix are these ones in the corner. Alright, these ones in the corner. So how we do that, we go to closed T, sorry. And then now when we select our lines, it's going to chop them off. So we're going to select the hip rafter first, and then we're going to select the fascia board. And you see what it did? It trimmed it off for us. See that? So let's go and do all 4 corners. Select the hip rafter and then select the fascia board and it trim off the excess. Do that for all 4 corners. Same thing, hip rafter, and then we click the fascia board, boom, trimmed it off. Same thing here, boom, boom. Now, to deal with the others, we can't use the same setting. We have to use a different setting. So how we're gonna go out and do this? We need to use a different multi-line edit. So type multi-line edit, enter, and then we're going to use closed cross. Okay, so hit closed cross. So what we're going to do here is this. We need to click the one on the outside first, and then this hip jack rafter first, and then we click the hip rafter second, and then it just trimmed off the excess that was crossing in. Do the same thing, click the hip jack and then click the hip. So there you go. You have the one in the middle, hip rafter, and then the hip jack that jacked in right there on the ends. So you're just basically gonna go through the whole drawing, all the rafters, and do these together. So you do this one, and then the one in the middle. This one, and then the one in the middle. Then come back and do it. This one, then the one in the middle. This one, then the one in the middle. Alright? Let's go ahead and do all follow the hip rafter and just do it all the way up till you reach the ridge. That one, then the one in the middle. That one, then the one in the middle. This one in the middle. For this one, leave this one for last. Okay. So go ahead and do this side now. Let's do this one, then the one in the middle. All right. Hip jack, hip, hip jack, hip, hip jack, hip, hip jack, hip. Now, an easier way to do this would have been, before we actually mirror the lines, we should have done this first, and then when we copied it, it would have already been trimmed when we copied it, but we didn't do that. So now we have to manually do all of this little things. I'm just realizing it as we go along. Actually, I knew, but I forgot. To leave these ones, so let's do the other side, starting from the right here. So that's the ridge. We're not going to start with these. We're going to do this one. So hip jack, one in the middle, hip jack, one in the middle, hip jack, 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 hip, hip jack, hip, and then this final one at the corner, this one, that one. I think there's only one left now, one row, one more left. So let's start from here, hip jack middle, trimming up all of these things, all these crisscross, hip jack middle. All right, so now that we have that trimmed up, we need to fix this one in the by the ridge here. No, I wasn't quite sure if this particular one would work, so let me see if it would, and then I will come back to it. ML edit, and I'm going to choose let's see if I want to do the closed cross. Let me try the closed cross again. So let me see, I want to do this and have it cut off here, so this one and then that one. So you see that, um wait a minute. So I mean, it happened, but I'm not sure if this is how I want it to happen. So no, I don't think that's how I want it to happen. Maybe I want this one to directly touch the rafter, the ridge, and then this one to be chopped off. So I want this one to be chopped off here. So I click this and then that. Right. Let's do the opposite side immediately. I click this and then this one. So excuse me. All right. Where were we? So now that we did that on this side, let's do the opposite side one time. So we want this one to be cut off at this line. So we select this one first and then that one next. Let's go and do the opposite one. We select we want we select this one first and then that one next. Okay. Um so when it comes to these two, we want this one to be cut off at this line. So we select this one first and then that one next. This one first and then that one next. So we have the hip rafter cut off in between the common rafters here. So let's do that on this side. We want this to be cut off at that one. We want this to be cut off at this one. Alright, so that's that for all of the trimming, except for in the middle here. We this magenta line that you're seeing, this is not actually the multi-line. This is actually from the other layer. If I turn off the roof layer, you would see that goes away. So everything seems to be trimmed up perfectly now. So the only thing left to do is just to dimension this entire drawing. We're gonna dimension the whole drawing, which is pretty easy, and label the different parts. So let me just turn on this part here and you would see exactly what you need to do. So what we're going to do now, we're going to make put some dimensions. We're going to put some dimensions for the actual building. Now if you notice where these dimension lines are going, it's going from the building line, the walls, not the roof. We're measuring from the corner of the walls to the first rafter that touches the ridge. This is the ridge. This is the first rafter that touches the ridge. And then we're going to measure the distance of the ridge, then an overall measurement of the entire building, and then we just want to show that the rafters are 600 millimeters apart by measuring it like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We need to switch to the dimension layer, and then go to our linear, linear dimension tool, and we're going to select the building corner right there. Come across, and where did I say? At the center of this rafter. So right here, right here, and then we're gonna bring it out. Okay. Now typically we would type a distance, but now I'm just gonna click it. Okay. Go to annotate and then continue to the next point, which is the next rafter right here. Center of the next rafter right there. Center. So that's what we should have. And then finally just use the linear measurement again, and let's show the distance between two rafters from center to center. We should see 600. Now how do I know where this is? I can just take my cursor across and click here, and it will put them at the same line, same distance away from the object. Okay, and finally we need an overall measurement. So from the corner of the building again to the corner of the same bit, the other corner. Just take it a little bit above. Don't put it too far and don't put it too close. Just eye it and try to put it, reasonably good distance apart. Now let's do it on the other side. We need to get a distance from the corner of the building to the center, to the ridge, the center of the ridge board or this common rafter, and then overall. Pretty simple. So linear measurement. I'm on the annotate tab. Linear measurement. Dimension tool. Click the corner. Bring it all the way down to we say the center, which is right here, and then bring it out. Try to make it similar to that one, not too far. So right there is good. And then we need the overall measurement now from the center, from the corner of the wall, sorry, to the corner, the other corner, and then bring it out not too far. Want them to be looking a little similar like that. So the final thing now is just to put in all of these different leader lines to point to the different aspects of the drawing. So let's start with the building line. We need to go to switch to our text layer, and we hit the leader line, and then we're going to point to the building. So this building line right here, that's our first one. Let me turn off the ortho mode, and then we're gonna type in all caps, remember, uppercase, building line. That's done. Next one is the hip rafter. We put the dimensions first and then the name. So another leader line, point to the hip rafter right here, bring it out. Now we type 50 times 50 mm times 150 mm, enter, and then we put the hip rafter. Then what's the next one we want to do? We want to do the hip jack. The hip jack is the one that is jacked in between the hip rafter and the fascia board. So let's do that leader line again. Click right here and put a leader line to it. It's the same dimension, 50 millimeters times 150 millimeters. Hit enter, and the name is the hip jack rafter. Hit enter. So now we just need the fascia board and the ones at the bottom. So the fascia board is just gonna point anywhere on this line, and the fascia board, remember, is 25 millimeters times 200 millimeters, and then the fascia board. Good. Now we just need to do the ridge the eave, and the common rafter. Shouldn't take us a minute. So we click the line tool, draw a line from the building to the eave. I'm going to pass it and then trim it after, like that. So this is just to show this distance. Point a line to it, and then we're going to type 450 millimeters space eve. Right, we should probably put that on a separate line by itself, but that's fine. The next one, we want to put the common rafter. So these two are common rafters. So I'm going to select one of them, point anywhere like that. So it's now going to be 50 mm times 150 mm space common rafter. Click off. And finally, last leader pointing directly to the ridge. And then we're going to type 50 mm times 150 mm, enter, ridge board. Alright, and once you followed all of that, you should have everything completed. Save your work, and you're all done.